All right, here comes the fun part, compositing. A lot of you know that that's kind of what I do. It's kind of my thing. I love putting subjects and backgrounds. And we shot Crystal here. You can see her in this red dress. She looks absolutely amazing. And here's a background that I shot in San Francisco, right below the San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge. It's in, I think it's called Fort Point, something like that. You can get in there. It's free. You can walk in there. They let you take tripods, and which is really rare. And they have these rooms up on the second floor that have it was the quarters where all the officers stayed. So it's amazing background. I wanted to make sure that I had something when I showed up here, so this was perfect. And I've shot this in, let me show you the, here I have two images that I shot with a 17 tilt shift. I shift to the left, shoot an HDR 3-bracket sequence, a normal 2 under, 2 over. Shoot it left and right, and then I stitch it together in photo merge, which was right there. And then I run it through, well actually here it was with the stitched. Cropped it, straightened it out a little bit. Then I applied a couple of my techniques that you've already seen. Same thing, make a smart object, make a black and white, do the whole techniques exactly like I do a portrait. Edge it up a little bit, and then it's ready to go. And so that's the foundation of the background. I'm going to add some atmospheric sort of haze coming through the windows and things like that to kind of give it a little bit more of a mood. So let's go to our selects of what we did of Crystal. And we got some amazing stuff of her in both dresses, but I thought for this shot we would go with this kind of a classic look here. And let me see if I can find the image. It is right here. So let's double click on this. And here we are in the raw converter again. And not to beat a dead horse into the ground, same techniques. Contrast a little to the left. Shadows a little bit to the right. No highlight blown out, so I don't have to worry about that. I'm going to open this as a smart object. We're going to come over here and let's get rid of this file. We're going to do the same technique before. So right click, new smart object via copy. I'm going to set the blending mode to soft light, double click on the top layer. We're going to go to the black and white, convert to grayscale. Now on here, I don't want to change the dress too much, but I still think I'm going to lighten her skin a little bit. So let's take the orange slider over to the right, maybe the yellow slightly. Now again, if I want to take the orange dress down, pull the red to the left a little bit. Let's go a little bit more here and see what happens. Hit OK. Evaluate it. It's pretty good to me. So I'm going to flatten these layers. You can always do a Shift Control or Option Command E, but let's just move on here. I'm going to show you how fast I do this. Now, what I'm going to show you, there's a couple things I can do. Let's say if I need a couple little liquefy issues here, like for example, every woman, let's go to liquefy, usually is a little self-conscious about things and that you don't want to fix, and so the liquefy is their best friend. So we can always go in here, maybe just push things in just a little bit. Sometimes the back of the arms. Now here it might be a little hard. I'd have to go in here like this and make a mask on that. So I'll show you. But the back of the arms is one of those things that women are very self-conscious about. So a little help from the liquefy doesn't hurt. So let's push that in just a little bit there. And you can see I made that mask to keep the shape of the back. So let's say, okay, oh wait, let's see if there's any hair issues. A couple little hair issues. So again, let's go here. We're going to come down here and block it. Go back to the push tool. And we're going to push that hair in just a little bit there. You don't want it to look too funky because you can really make it look like it's been crunched in. But I'm just going to fix a little bit of that there. All right, everything looks great. Say okay. So I'm going to apply a couple other techniques. And now I want to let you guys know that I have a class on compositing that I've already done with Calbee Training. I would love to have you check that out. It goes into a little more detail, so I'm going to move a little bit more sort of quickly through this because of time. But let's do this. We're going to hit Command J. I'm going to apply a blur, Gaussian blur, 18. And I'm going to set my blending mode to soft light. And I'm going to take the opacity to about 25–30%. That softens my skin just a little bit. Now I'm going to flatten that, so we can go Command E to merge it down. Now I'm going to go to Command J, and I'm going to give it a little bit of a high pass because I softened it, and it smoothed the skin out. Now I want to give a little bit punch left back to the sharpness, so I go to a radius of 2. You don't want to go over 2. It's really critical that you don't overuse this high pass technique, especially on a beauty fashion type thing. So we say okay, set the blending mode to overlay. You can go soft light, but overlay is the one I use. So now what we've done is if I look at her, that's without, with, and you know what? It might be even at 2, might be a little too much. So let's take the opacity down a little bit. Or we can set the blending mode to soft light will also keep it a little less of an effect. But that gives a little bit more crispness to it. I'm going to merge that down. I am now ready to knock her out of this gray, light gray background. So let's go to our quick selection tool. Now on this knockout, her skin's fairly light, and it's, if I had maybe gone a little darker background, it'd be a little easier. But I'm just going to show you, this is how I work. And this is really not rocket science. Keep in mind that I'm going to create a mask with this so that this selection does not have to be perfect. So if I go out too far, I hit the option down, come in on my selection, go up here, and I want to bring the mask in to where there's no daylight showing through the, I say daylight, but light coming through the hair. So if you see up here, I got a little bit of issue there. So I'm going to make sure that the mask is on the inside of that. We'll go right to the edge there. And once again, I can fine tune this later because I'm going to save my mask. So let's go along here. Now, immediately, I'm going to have some issues trying to get this quick select to do this selection here. I am not worried about it. Probably what I do is make sure I have, at least so I can see the fingers, the tips of the fingers. So let's go down here. We got a little issue here, but I'm not really worried about it being perfect. Well, let's pick up her feet. That looks pretty good. All right, so overall, I got pretty much everything I want. Now, the next thing I do is I'm going to hit Refine Edge. Now, if for some reason I have my selection and I'm off my selection up here on this Quick Select tool, you can see that the Refine Mask disappears. So people call me and email me, say, they can't find the Refine Mask button. Well, you have to stay on the Quick Selection tool. Your Refine Edge little dialog button is right here. You click that. That brings us over into the Refine Edge options. The first thing I do is it defaults to this little brush. So I'm going to paint in the hair, those wispy hairs that were fringing out, just like that. And you can see I missed a whole section here underneath the arm. No worries. And if there was some other issues like or frizzy things on the dress, I would pick those up, but I don't care about them right now. So I'm going to go down here to my output options. I don't touch any of the adjustments here, and I'm going to show you why in a minute. I'm going to hit select a new mask. So I have a layer with a new mask. Say OK. There's my mask. She's knocked out. She's not perfect though. I'm not worried about it. So let's go over and get my background. So let's go up to here and let's pick, I think it was this one right here is my final. So let's double click on that. We're going to bring it in and we're going to drop her in. So let's go pick her up. I'm going to take my tool at the top here, which is what they call the move tool, very top, or you hit the V is a shortcut. I'm going to grab her, go up to my what I call point fort layer or image, and then bring back down to the image itself and let go, and that brings her into the scene. So let's go above here, put her at the top. And so you can see I had on this layer a couple things that I did to kind of edge it up a little bit. And we're going to get rid of those. Let's get rid of those because I'll show you how to do that in a minute. So let's go up here, and my palette is at the very bottom. We're just going to delete them. All right, so I'm going to go Command T, which gives me the free transform tool, and I want to position her into this scene, and I have to kind of keep an eye on the fact that this is a very wide angle background, so I have to sort of position her to make her look like she's really going to be standing there. So as much as I would love to go like full top to bottom here, it's not going to work with her because the fact that she's got to be standing somewhat back away from the beginning of the boards. The boards are too big here. So probably about there is about right. So I'm not locked into her position, but let's just say something about like that. And I just hit return. So you can see it's not super exciting. It looks like it's fake, but that's okay. So let's take a look at our mask. Let's blow this up here. And you can see that I've got some major problems. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go to my brush. I'm going to have my opacity at 100%, flow 100%. I want to make sure that my preset brushes are set at the solid brush, not the tapered brush. So this is the default brushes that Photoshop gives you. And it usually has the soft one at the top, and then it works its way down. I want this, the harder one. Actually, you can pick either one, but you don't want the tapered one. So double click. A lot of times I double click to activate it. I don't know if that's something you have to do, but let's get rid of that. And I've got black, 100%, 100% flow. And I'm going to come in here. Let's go right click it, make sure that I'm about maybe 75, 80% on my hardness. I don't want it pure hard. So I missed a bunch of, there's a bunch of issues here. So let's make my brush fairly small. And black is going to take and punch a hole through my subject. White is going to reveal it. So let's take my white, come along here, and let's blow it up a little bit. It's over 100% here. But you can see if I come out here, I'm actually bringing in the gray. So I just hit the X. Let's make the brush a little smaller. And I can come in here and I can just fine tune my selection here. Okay? And let's go over here and I'm going to hit the X. So, whoops, so it's black here. And I'm going to show you a little trick. This is amazing. I'm going to take my Shift key and I'm going to start here and I'm just going to click along here. And this allows me to move very quickly on straight edges. So I could have done this in the Refine Mask section, but this gives you a good idea. So if I go too far, which is okay, if I go too far here, which is okay, hit my Shift, and I go click, 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 click. I missed a little bit there, so let's go back. Hit the X key, and I just paint it right in. Paint that right in. Whoops, went too far. Follow the line there. Make this a little smaller, hit the X key, clean up that selection. Now I'm going to show you a trick here in a minute that's going to even fix the overall, that little line right there. We're going to fix all that because I've got them all over. I'm going to shrink the mask here, and she's got a little bump on her elbow, so let's just take that out. But, all right, we got to finish this in here too. So we just come along here, paint this along. Now this takes a little longer than you know, I mean, it's maybe a 10-minute at most, you know, refining, clicking up. It shouldn't take 2 hours. And a lot of people call me and say, I've got this, my knockouts are taking 2 hours or an hour. It shouldn't take more than 10, 15 minutes at the most to clean up your selections. So here's a little bit of an issue on this jaw. Clean that up. Whoops, went too far there. The ear. I'm going to show you how they fix the hair in a minute. Follow the dress down. Here we got some issues on the hand, but I think you get my point now. It's just by clicking the white to black brush, I can fix all my little problems here. So let's go in here. I'm going to go all the way in and then hit the X and then bring it out. I have a little thing that I talk about when I talk about my knockouts, and that is that getting a perfect knockout is not the most important thing. To sell the fake, what's more important is shadowing and shading. So I say if you're going to spend time more on shadowing and shading, not on knockout. Because nobody's going to be fine-tuning or looking at this thing with a fine-tuned magnifying glass. Unless you're doing an ad campaign and you have a big, you know, Duratran or billboard or something, then you probably spend a little more time. But for the most part, don't overdo it on the knockout. So that is pretty much about as clean as I would get a knockout. And there's one other little trick I'm going to show you. And that is I'm going to stay clicked on the mask. I'm going to go over to my select tool. And I'm going to shrink the mask except for the hair. I'm going to come around, make a selection, and now I'm going to add a slight blur. So blur, Gaussian blur, 2 radius. And then you watch this. This is amazing. Look under the arm here and all that area. I'm going to take levels, Command L, and I'm going to pull the black to the right. And all those little white lines, the little artifacts disappear. It's perfect. So that, and I'm deselect here, so that allows me to clean up my selection. So one more thing before we move on, I'm going to show you how to take out these little artifacts in the hair. So I want to click on the subject, not the mask, go to black brush, set the opacity to about 50-50. Set my blending mode on my brush, which is right at the top here. A lot of people don't know about this. Set that to overlay. And now I'm just going to lightly paint right along the edge here, and it just takes out all the little white frizzies. That's how fast it is. So let's move on. We're going to talk about shadowing and shading next. Probably the most important technique in terms of selling the fake.